In this video I'm going to be doing 4 parts to Python, just showing what we've covered in class. The first part that I'm going to do will be a while loop with a Boolean value in there as well. The second part I'm going to do is an array, like a list with a list of words, and then you're going through that list of words and finding the answer that you want. The third part will be tying all this together, and the fourth part is how we save our files and things and put them onto the server. Right. So first one I'm going to do, I'll start off with my hashtag that I always do, put my name, Nick May, and I'm going to call this Boolean, and let's call it Boolean question. That'll do, Boolean question. You can name it whatever you like. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is create a Boolean value. I'm just going to call it A, and I'm going to say A equals true. Now, true is the Boolean value, right? So I might hashtag this in. This is a Boolean value. Right, so Boolean is either true or false, right? And so this one I've put in, it is true. Now, what I want to do is I want to ask a question, and I want the person to answer the question with one of two answers. And if they don't answer it correctly, I want them to go back and make sure that they answer it correctly. So let's write the question first, and then I'm going to do a little bit of moving around of the things, but let's ask the question first. So let's put ask as can be my variable, and in my variable I'm going to put an input, and then I'm going to set up my question, and my question will be something simple like, do you like blue or red? Okay, simple question. Do you like blue or red? Now I want them to answer, and I want it to be able to test to see if they've answered correctly. So I'm also going to make it lowercase by putting lower and then 2 brackets. So that means no matter what their answer is, it'll come out in lowercase. Then I can check if it's correct. So I can say if ask exactly equals, and I put inverted commas. Remember, it's got to be lowercase now. Blue, colon. Then I want to do something. So I'm going to write print, brackets, I like blue too. Alright, so that's simple. So if they choose blue, it says I like blue too. Let's put an elif in here. If ask exactly equals red, okay, colon, then I'm going to write print, okay, brackets, inverted commas, okay, I like red too. So if they choose either of those, fantastic. But if they don't, if they choose something completely wrong, I want it to say, you must choose, you must, in capital letters, choose either red or blue. Okay, so I'm saying to them, you can't just choose another colour or something random or be weird. You must choose red or blue. Now, obviously, I want that to go back and run again. If they didn't choose red or blue, I want it to go back and loop back and do the whole thing again. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a while loop. So I'm going to write in here, while A, which is my variable up the top here, my Boolean variable, while A exactly equals true, colon, then I want it to run this program right here, this whole section right here. So I highlight it, I press the tab key once so it's indented correctly, and then I'm just going to delete these spaces out. So while it's true, ask this question, do you like red or blue? If ask equals blue, I like blue too, well then my loop could finish then if I wanted it to finish because they've actually answered correctly. Or ask if they answer red, then well my loop there could finish as well because they've answered correctly. Or if they didn't answer correctly, I want it to loop back and ask again. But this loop's only going to work while A is true. So if I want to change this, I can change this to A equals false. So now think about this logic. You've asked the question. If they answer it correctly, you want the program to end, so you say A equals false, so the loop can't run again. Same thing for if they answer red. Right, so if they answer red, you want the loop to finish so it doesn't ask them again. But if they answer anything else, you do want the loop to say again, So you're not going to change the value of A. You're going to leave it at true. It's at true at the moment. You're just going to leave it at true, and it'll go back and ask that question again. So let's save this and test it. So let's just go File, Save As. I'm going to save this as on my desktop. I'm going to save this as bool quest.py. Save it to my desktop. Hit save. Run the program. Run module. And here we go. Do you like blue or red? Well, I've already found a mistake. I didn't have a question mark and I don't have a space. So I'm going to fix that in a minute. Now I'm going to write red. Okay, I like red too. So red worked. Okay, so let's just put the question mark and the space in there. Save it, run it again. Right, this time I'm going to put in blue. Okay, fantastic. Red and blue worked. This time I'm going to write something completely different. I'm going to write green. And it says you must choose either red or blue. And it's taken me back to the top of the loop, and I can do it again. So this time I'm going to write yellow. You must choose either red or blue. All right, let's try pink. You must choose red or blue. Let's try the number 5. Let's try car. Let's try house. So nothing is going to work unless I try red or blue. And then my program says I like red too, right? So this is a while loop using a Boolean to make the decision of whether the loop continues or the loop ends. Now, this can be done a lot of ways. This is the way we did it in class today, and that's the first part of the video finished. I'm going to save my file and close it, and let's start our next section. Right, so now we're going to work on hash Nick May. We are going to work on a list / array of how are you today. Alright, so this is going to be a simple program about someone asks how are you today. And so I'm going to start off creating a list or an array, and in this array I'm going to put in, say, 5 words that people might say if you said how are you today. Okay, so there we go, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if I said to you how are you today, some people might say good. Some people might say fine. Some people might say all right. Some people might say okay. And some people might say peachy. So peachy, one of the kids in the class today said peachy, right? So that's why I put that in there. Okay, so they've said peachy. So now I want to ask that question. So let's just call this quest equals input brackets, input must be spelled correctly, input, how are you today? So there's a simple question, put my space, got a question mark, how are you today? Now, what I would like to do is if they answer one of the things in the list here, I can reply to that answer. But if they don't answer that, then I can reply in some other way, okay? So let's go through, we want to check through this list. We want to check and see if the answer is in this list. So let's say if quest, that's what the user has answered, in field, so in other words, if the answer is in the field list, then we want to do something. We want to print, and because these are all pretty positive answers, let's say, that's great. That's great! Exclamation mark. Okay, now, if it's not in the list, if it's anything else, any other words that the people say, then let's print something different. Print, I hope your day gets better. Full stop. So there you go. So now we've got this program here where we've got a list or an array right here of 5 words. We ask a question of the user, how are you today? And then we're saying if the answer is in the field list, then print that's great. Otherwise print, I hope your day gets better. So let's run this one and try this one. Run module. Okay, must be saved. Okay, I'm going to save this as list quest. Right, listquest.py. Save it to my desktop. And just hit save. Okay. Here it is. How are you today? I'm feeling good. That's great. So that seems to have worked. But remember, when you're debugging a program, you need to run it every single way you can to see if any mistakes come up. So how are you today? I'm bad. I hope your day gets better. Okay, so if I write good, it says that's great. If I write bad, it says it gets better. All right, let's try running it again, see if we can make a mistake here. How are you today? I am 27. Well, I hope your day gets better, because the else statement here says anything that's not in that list, it's going to print I hope your day gets better. So even if they write something completely silly, how are you today? Red motor car. That's a ridiculous answer. I hope your day gets better, okay? Because anything that's not in the list, we're going to say I hope your day gets better. So that's part of program number 2. That's finished. I've saved it. I'm going to close that, and then let's get to the part 3. Now the part 3 is the big activity that we did during the day today, and this was the VISP, VJ International School Prelude. It was the coffee shop. So let's call this VISP Coffee Shop. Okay, so here we go. We're calling this VISP Coffee Shop. Now, the first challenge in the coffee shop was you have to say hello to a customer as they walk in the door and welcome to the shop. So, simple one. First part, print statement. Welcome to VISP Coffee Shop. Tick. First part of my program completed. I've welcomed them in the door. Now, we want to ask them how they are today. Now, I think we've already done a program today where we've asked how someone is today. So what we could do is we could go back to our list question here, highlight that, copy all of that, go back to our new program, paste it here, and now I've got the whole how are you today. So I've got my variable in here with the different things. I've asked the question, how are you today? If the question is in there, that's great. Otherwise, I say, I hope your day gets better. So that's part 2 finished. So part 1, I'll put some comments in here, was say hello. We've done that. Part 2 was ask how they are. Ask how they are. So that's good customer service. So we've done part 2. Now part 3 was ask them if they want tea or coffee, but they're only allowed to have tea or coffee. They're not allowed to have anything else. And this is where we can go to our Boolean question. So I'm going to open up my Boolean question. I'm going to copy all of this, including the Boolean variable. I'm going to hit copy. I'm going to go down to here. I'm going to hit paste. And so I might just put a comment in here saying this is the ask coffee or tea only. Okay. So, I'm using this Boolean question before. Do you like red or blue? I'm going to change that to, do you like coffee or tea? Now, I've also made it lowercase, so I need to make sure where I have these ask statements that these are in lowercase. Coffee, and instead of saying I like blue too, let's write, if you're a server at a coffee shop, you might say, okay, coffee it is. And then I'm going to put some dots here to show that I'm still talking, I've more things to say. Okay, coffee it is. Now if they choose tea, we're going to put T-E-A, tea, okay, and then the server's going to say tea it is. And then a few dots. Okay, and if they don't choose coffee or tea, I'm going to write, I'm sorry we don't have that, you must choose coffee or tea. Because you're not going to just say, you must choose in a coffee shop, right? I'm sorry, we don't have that. Comma, you must choose coffee or tea. Okay, you'd probably be a bit more polite than that, but that'll do. So now I've done that section which says, ask them whether they want coffee or tea. And I've finished that loop. If they choose coffee, it's going to say coffee it is, and then it's going to wait for something else. If they choose tea, it's going to say tea it is, it's going to wait for something else. Otherwise, it's going to say, I'm sorry, we don't have that, you must choose coffee or tea. Okay, so we're ready to move on from here. It'll keep looping until they choose coffee or tea. Now, the next question was, if they've chosen coffee or tea, do you want sugar? So let's call this one sugar as my variable. Let's call it input. Let's do brackets, inverted commas. Do you want sugar? Question mark. And this one I'm going to put a capital Y/N. Right, so they're going to choose yes or no. That's it. It's a simple yes or no question. So I'm going to say if sugar exactly equals inverted commas, and I'm going to make this one upper. So I'm going to put a capital Y, colon, then we say print, okay, I'll add sugar. Okay, comma, I'll add sugar. And then I'm going to put the dots in again, saying that they want sugar. Now, because I've said that's an upper, I'm actually going to make sure that this is upper 2, in case the user decides to put it in a lowercase y or n. I'm just going to say it has to be uppercase. Okay, now, else, so if they didn't say yes to sugar, they must have said no. So I'm going to say print, let's just copy that line, right click copy, here, right click paste. Let's say okay, and let's just say no sugar, no sugar. Okay, so if they say yes, they'll get sugar. If they say anything else, we'll say okay, no sugar. Now we want to ask the next question. So this part here was add sugar, hash add sugar, question mark. And then the next part we're going to do is, do they want milk? So let's copy this, bang bang. Here, we're going to change this one to add milk. Right, so there's my add milk. Obviously, I'm going to change my variable name to milk. Do you see how I said to you in class, sometimes it's quicker just to copy and paste than it is to retype everything again, right? Do you want milk? Okay, I'll add milk. And it looks like I spelled, no, that's okay, milk's there, milk, milk, milk. No milk. Okay. So now I've added the milk section as well. So we've got them. Coming into the coffee shop, you say hello. You ask them how they are for their day. You ask them if they want tea or coffee. You ask them if they want sugar. You ask them if they want milk. Okay. Now the last section, which I'm not sure we got to, but the last section that was in the challenge was to ask whether they wanted something to eat as well, if they wanted something to eat. So I'm going to choose this one, this add milk. I'm going to highlight this and just go copy. I'm going to go down here, I'm just going to go Command V, paste. I'm going to go add, let's say bread, comma, raisin toast, or bun. That'll work. Bread, raisin toast, or bun. So we're going to call this food. Do you want bread, comma, raisin toast, or a bun? Question mark, space. And I'm going to make this one lowercase. Okay, now we could go down here. If food, it's the same thing, we're just doing the same thing over, right? In here equals bread. Then what are we going to do? We're going to say, okay, great, I'll get some bread. Right? Great, I'll get some bread. Fantastic, let's do it good. Let's copy this section here. Copy, go to here, paste this, paste. Now I'm actually going to copy this entire, no, I'm going to copy this entire if statement. I'm going to say copy, I'm going to hit return here. Go back, hit paste, and I'm going to make this an elif. Elif food equals, and we'll put in here raisin toast. No, let's put in bun, because they might spell raisin toast funny, or they might not have a gap, or they might have capitals, or whatever. So I'm going to put bun. Great, let's put a bun. I'll get a bun. And then the last one is, great, I'll get raisin toast. Okay, so there we go. We've added the bread element to it as well, or the food element to it. And then we can just finish the day with Print, I hope you have a great meal. I hope you have a great coffee. I hope you have a great snack. That'll do. I hope you have a great snack. So there we go. We've finished the program. We've used the 2 skills from our previous program, which was the Boolean question and then the Boolean list. We've put it all together into one big program, and hopefully it'll run. So let's have a quick look. Let's go run module. I need to save it. When I save it, I'm going to call it Coffee Shop. Okay, welcome to VISP Coffee Shop. How are you today? I'm going to write in, I'm good. Whoops, good. Okay, that's great. Do you want coffee or tea? Well, I want juice. It says, I'm sorry, we don't have that. You must choose coffee or tea. Oh, okay, I'm going to choose water. I'm sorry, we don't have that. You must choose coffee or tea. All right, so I'm going to choose tea. Tea it is. Do you want sugar? Yes or no? Well, I'm going to hit yes. Okay, I'll add some sugar. Do you want milk? No, I don't want milk. Okay, no milk. Do you want bread, raisin toast, or bun? I'm going to write bun. Great. I'll get a bun. Have a great snack. You have a great snack. So I've written that a bit funny down there because my screen was going a bit funny. So I need to fix that last line. It should say, I hope you have a great snack. I hope you have a great snack. There we go. So I've finished that, saved that. So there's my file. So I've finished and my program works and it runs. I would run this 3 or 4 times. I'd troubleshoot everything. I'd try and make mistakes all the way through it as I'm typing answers in and really test it out to make sure that it works. But that is essentially my program. So now that's the third part. So now we come to the last part of the video, and that is uploading your files, right? So I'm just going to close this. I'm going to quit out of idle, and I'm going to go down to my drive. Now, on your drive, I have a folder called Books and Shared Documents, and that's where I share all the documents. Now, you have your own personal folder that you can go to your own folder, but for me, that's where I've got my Books and Shared Documents. I'm going to go into the Python file section of that folder, and you can see I've already put a lot of our lessons in there. I'm going to grab Boolean Quest, Coffee Shop, List Quest. So these are the 3 files we've just worked on. I dragged them and I put them into the folder. And all I did was drag them across. It's exactly the same on the Mac and the PC. And that's how you save your files into your folder. Once they're saved into your folder, then I can go in and check them and help you out and read them and give you feedback and all those sorts of things. But that's where they are. Now, the beauty of this is it's in the shared folder which you are shared with, so you should be able to go in and open up all my files and have a look at them and run them and make sure they work for you and all those sorts of things, right? So this is the beauty of doing the classes, doing it with me in class, and then this is the backup. You can come back and check the files later and make sure that they're working and save your files onto the computer for me to have a look if you're having any problems. Right, that's it. End of the video. Go and do your homework.